Hi guys, it's been a while since I've put up an art meditation to do, and today is the 28th of January and it's the full moon, so I thought it would be really great to put up a full moon art journaling activity. So this month I did a little bit of research around this moon, so it's in Leo, which is a fire sign, which is, so much energy around it, and if you look back over the month, there was a lot of amazing things that sort of happened in the cosmos that made it quite an impactful month. But it's also, so Leo is sort of associated with the lion, which is a lovely symbol to work with if you feel inclined. And it's also being in January, called the wolf moon, which I didn't know that. And that's another sort of animal sort of totem that you can use and take in your work if you feel that way and you're working with me today. But the main thing really that I wanted to share about my thoughts about the moon, I've really appreciated using the moon in my journaling activities and in my art and just in general, because of the way it grounds us into nature, and it grounds us into the idea that we're all connected, like we're not these humans that are sort of separate from the rest of what happens on the earth and around the earth, that we're all plugged in and into the cosmos and what's happening, and we're all affected by what's happening. So there's that real feeling of being a created being, for me anyway, and it's quite humbling as well. And so even in the realm of animals and plants and everything, how they're connected with the passage of time, and when the sun rises, the sun sets, etc., etc., etc. So I really pulled that into my full moon art journaling meditation. But as well as that, like when you're working with the moon's energy, so traditionally the full moon is associated with releasing things. So we let go of the things that no longer serve us at the full moon. And it's also a time of reflecting back and having gratitude towards the things that have gone really well as well. So acknowledging our disappointments on one hand, and perhaps even looking at our shadow side and the things that we find it hard to look at. So the moon is almost like a mirror shining back at us what's going on in our lives, and letting go and gratitude. And we lead up to the new moon in a couple of weeks, which is when we plant new seeds. So we plant seeds that we're going to work towards again in the next month. So there's a lot of beautiful symbolism around the moon. When I did my journaling activity, I just wanted to show you, I kind of made it quite symbolic as far as what I did, but also it was very intuitive and free at the same time, if that makes sense. So I've got this beautiful art journal. You can see that there. It's a hard covered one, and what I did at the start. So I've got some of this origami paper. I really wasn't too phased about the colour that I was using because I knew I was going to paint over it, but it's a very shiny surface. So when you apply paint on it, you can scratch back into it and get all sorts of textures and things like that. So what I did was I wrote down all of my disappointments and things that I wanted to release to the moon on the back of the paper, and then I glued them down. So it was like no longer to be seen. It wasn't going to be displayed as part of my finished page. But I just wanted to sort of have that sort of sense of release, so that symbolic release of the things that no longer serve. And then I glued that down. So I also made my own sort of diluted down some PVA glue with a bit of water, and that's nice to work with. It makes your paint shiny and it sticks things down really well on your page. So with these symbols at the top, that was my gratitude part. So when I didn't really want to use words, although you could use words, you could use all sorts of like poetry, just whatever you think, songs, song lyrics, whatever. I chose to get some visual symbols that remind me of what I'm grateful for. And I've got these magazines, I collect them, but I rip them up. They're Frankie magazines, they're fantastic. They're kind of like hipster, arty magazines, but they've always got these amazing pictures in, and the pages aren't shiny, so I really like that. They just have got a nice quality about the pages. So anything, but that's just what I use. You can use anything, so please just grab out all of your art supplies and use whatever. And yeah, so that was my idea. So the gratitude sort of go on the top, so that's something nice to remember as we think about the seeds that we're going to plant for the new moon. And so I'm going to show you the activity from start to finish. The one thing I did want to say, really, really important, is when you're doing journaling, like, you know, I was reasonably happy with how my picture turned out, but it's a journaling activity. It's the best place for happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say, the painter Bob Ross, because, you know, you really want to take your inner critic off your shoulder and just allow yourself to be loose and free with this. No one has to see it. And yeah, so just take the perfectionist off your shoulder and really just be in the moment, enjoy the moment, put on some music, get yourself a cup of tea or a gin and tonic or whatever, and I hope you enjoy painting alongside with me. See ya. So here I'm writing down the affirmations, or not the affirmations, sorry, I'm writing down the things that, you know, I wasn't as happy with as to what happened in the month and I wanted to let go of and release to the moon. And I've got my trusty glue mixed with a bit of water. They sell it as Mod Podge in art supply shops, but you can make your own. Just using PVA glue that you get from Bunnings or Big W or anywhere, and a bit of water, probably about a quarter water to glue, 3/4 glue. Works well. So I've got all just random origami paper. The colour, when you scratch into it, the colour of the origami paper can sometimes come through, so you could take that, you know, if you did bright colours underneath, the bright colours would come through. This is very layered, so anything you do, I'm showing you the close-up, the scratching, which I always think it's lovely to make texture, but anything you do, because it's so layered, like really it's just you're putting paper over paint over paper over paint kind of a thing. So it's very, very open-ended and hopefully very therapeutic. And just remember, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. There's Stuart saying hello. It's always nice to have someone paint with you, even if it's your dog. I was really tired this week, so I kind of did it, this little journaling activity in fits and spurts, so hence the change of clothes. But you can do that. It doesn't have to. You don't have to actually finish all in one hit, kind of a thing. Just let it dry. That's the other thing, actually. Didn't mention. You know, like because if you're working with paint, like it's really nice to have something else to work alongside. Once, you know, this time of year is fine because it's hot and summery in Australia anyway. But yeah, when you have to let the paint dry, it's nice to have something else to work on. I was actually, sometimes if you wanted to keep by your side and you're working with paper, you could probably even just work paint some other bits of paper to use in the collage later, if that makes sense, or work on your gratitudes as well. Like I've just ripped out pages from my magazine for my gratitudes, but you could actually really make that as a separate thing and then glue it down later. The other thing you can do is grab your hairdryer out and you can dry your page if you're impatient, and that's a good thing to do as well. It's always a conundrum for me because I like to use really heavy paint. There it is, and I'm putting my gratitudes in now, just my last ones. I'm just using the paint to kind of blend it all in again. Hi, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the full moon art meditation, and if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and leave a comment and let me know how you went if you painted alongside with me. God bless. Goodbye.